Hi, everybody. I'm gonna do a quick live. Hello, 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 hello. Hi, YouTube. How are you doing? I'm just checking, trying to find the feed and checking it. All right. I'm just sitting down here having my shake. Hi, everybody. Hi, Facebook. I decided to just do this. I see one topic and I decided I want to talk about it. May I drink my shake? My vegan protein shake. Hi. Hi everybody on Facebook. Hi everybody on YouTube. I want to do. Alright, so I really and truly want to talk about an issue that I see happening. There's an article right now on the Gleaner's website. Are you hearing me? Y'all hearing me? I had to use this pretty wall. I have this pretty wall in my house. I like it. So there's an article. See, somebody else tag me on the Gleaner. All right, so the title of the article is Mother Demands Homestead Principal Apologize for Allegedly Slapping the sixth grader in the face. So the backstory is that the principal of Sebastian, my son home midterm. The principal of Homestead Primary, Sophia Deere, was in an altercation. Apparently, she was probably part in a fight between two students or whatever, and inadvertently slapped one of the child twice in his face, according to the reports. So that I want to talk about this morning now. I'm going to read part of it for you. While Kerry Ann McPherson has decided against pressing assault charges against Homestead Primary Principal Sophia Deere for allegedly slapping her 13-year-old son in the face last week, she's demanding that the school administrator apologize for the reported offense. So basically, the mother wants the principal to apologize. The child hadn't been to school since the incident, but went in this morning. As you know, today is PEP. So the child went in to do PEP. All right? But this whole story is one of the incidents that occurred last week, where there were multiple confrontations between students, teachers, parents, teachers, pick me and pick me. Last week was just a mess in the Jamaican classroom. And I cannot for the life of me understand what this minister is talking about, that it is being blown out of proportion. Right? Morning, Carla. I can't see all the comments yet. Hi, Nadine. The comments on Facebook. Facebook been giving problem from what day, with putting up the comments them on the live on time. Hi, Maslin. Hi, Alexis. Alexis, you see, if the Child Protective Services should get involved, the principal will be charged with assault for slapping a child, right? That goes without saying. That goes without saying. So I just don't understand. I'm reading some of these comments. Morning, Marcia. Okay, I'm going on the computer on Facebook to see the comments, because the app and the thing now work. All right. Morning, Nadine. Morning, everybody. Morning, all. But the problem, I want to talk about the issue. The issue that, Sabi, be quiet, I'm live. Sorry. All right. It freezing? I'm not having problems with the feed. Is it freezing? Where's my towel? Didn't you leave it in the bathroom? Then if you leave it in the bathroom, it's in the bathroom, or take another one. All right, so, Osh, my son. I could talk about the issue now. The problem I am having is the fact that so many people think it's okay to assault these kids. Let's look at the JC incident last week that I spoke of. We expect children to behave like children, and then we excuse when adults assault children, right? But when children assault children, oh, you see this generation, what you think the children are modeling? What are they modeling? They are modeling the same behaviors that adults. If you hit me as a child, or if you hit a child, and that you ever see like a little girl playing with her dolly, make we use the dolly scenario. You have a child and you spank her. She's going to now sit down and play with her dolly, and when the dolly is rude, she's going to spank the dolly because she's modeling your behavior as the adult. You understand? This is how children learn. Their little brains are like sponges, and that's how they learn, they absorb. So when you are violent towards children, children in turn are violent towards other children. When children witness violence in the home, for instance, they are very aggressive. I know this firsthand because that was my situation with my eldest child. So I know what I'm talking about. All right. Diane says it's freezing. Yeah, it was giving trouble. It seemed to be all right now, Diane. But the point I'm making is, when I read this article, the mother says that her son is a slow learner. He's 13 and he's just doing PEP. That means that he's behind. He's probably developmentally delayed. She says he's a slow learner. And that is what I really want to take the time to talk about this morning. Because if the child really is a slow learner, then it changes everything. First of all, has the child been professionally diagnosed? The administrators at the school, them realize that the child have a learning disability. The mother says slow learner. What is slow learner? Has he been assessed? Has he been sent for assessment? If so, why is he in this general population? If he's a slow learner? I'm going to go back on the article because I want to read that part so I can hear it, because I found it very disturbing. I find it very disturbing that if the child is a slow learner, what them say? Why is the child in the general school population? Right? So let me read. Let me read. So it was last Tuesday that the incident happened. So the mother is saying that he is still shaken by the recent fracas. Her son, who she described as a slow learner, who repeated grade 6, will sit the ability test in the primary exit profile today. So he's a slow learner who has repeated grade 6. Define slow learner. And this is the problem that we're having. You see, these are the issues that we are having with the students in the school. They're not being properly assessed. They're not being properly diagnosed. And when they act out, they are the ones who are blamed. Right? First of all, is the child on the autism spectrum? There is something else in the article that made me wonder, right? The mother is saying, I just want the right story to be out in the ear so that she won't have a chance to lick another child. Principals must show respect to children. They are not supposed to be uncomfortable in school, right? This is what the mom is saying. All right, I'm trying to find the part where she actually described what happened. Last week, while declining to speak, told that she struck the child in self-defense. So the principal is saying it's self-defense. All right. So on Tuesday at about 11, she was at work and she got a call from the principal saying she must come there. There was an altercation at the school that caused her to slap him in his face 2 times. If it's self-defense, how do you end up slapping the child in the face 2 times? 1 time? Yeah. 2 times? That don't make no sense to me. Right? All right. Let me scroll down. I understand that the principal told him to take his hands out of his pocket and to stop shake up like bad man. Stop shake up like bad man. He took his hands out but was huffing and puffing and saying she was lying. Huffing and puffing. So imagine now. Throwing temper tantrum. Him have him hand in him pocket because he realizes that he has this problem. Work with me now. Him realize him have this problem. where when him get upset, him get agitated, him put him hands in him pocket. She tell him to take him hands out of the pocket. So of course, doesn't this strike you as a child that is on the autism spectrum? I'm not a professional, I'm just saying that. I remember, and I shared the experience a short while ago. I remember working 20 years ago as a physiotherapy intern at School of, I can't remember if it's School of Hope or School of Deaf or whatever, up behind Papine, right? Near where Mudtown and Landlease come down, right behind this, so near Papine High School. And I was confronted by a 13-year-old autistic child who gave me a hard ass box right across my face. I'll know my ears still a ring 20 years later. I will never forget that incident. I was upset, I was shocked, I was taken aback, only to be told by the administrators at the time that as an autistic child, this is normal to him. And you know, when I was at UWI doing physiotherapy, I had a beautiful lady by the name of Andrea Cameron, Dr. Andrea Cameron, who is a physiotherapist that taught me child development and developmental delays. She used to run a center named Step Center that used to be operated out of St. Margaret's Anglican Church Hall. Incidentally, I saw her on Friday at the health food store where I was buying my protein shake. And I saw her. She's totally gray now, but still the same beautiful woman. And I saw her and I was talking to her. It's so coincidental that now I'm just remembering her teaching me that you cannot expect the same developmental milestones that a normal child is going to have. You can't expect an autistic child or any other. It doesn't have to be autism alone. It can be any developmental delay. It can be any learning disability, right, that causes a child to act out, right? And this is the problem we are having. We were on the thread a while ago. We had teachers. Do you know that Jamaican teachers are not trained to identify learning disabilities in teachers' colleges? They're not trained. And as a teacher tell me so on the thread a while ago, I'm not making this up. I was talking to a teacher on the thread a while ago, and she said when she got teachers' college, they never teach her about them something there. They don't know how to identify learning disabilities. So how are they now going to... Another one was saying, boy, they are supposed to identify them, send them to the guidance counselor. Then the guidance counselor send them to MICO or wherever to get professionally assessed. But the waiting list is very long. I remember going through that with my daughter, who was on the other end of the spectrum. She's a gifted child. This would have been when she was 3, when she read at 2. And when she was in preschool, she used to hide under the desk and read. And they sent us to get her assessed at MICO. And when I took her to MICO, the waiting list was so long, it just didn't make any sense. I had to spend money and take her to Deocoro Magnetic School, where they had, I can't remember the name of that lady that runs it, but she has the ability to assess as well. And she assessed my child for me, right? I couldn't afford the school fee. Of course, there is no program. It's on the two ends of the spectrum. Children with learning disability, and this is not the first I'm talking about it. Children with learning disabilities, children who are gifted, there is no space in Jamaica for these children unless you're going to fork out your money and pay. There is nothing in place in the public system to deal with these children, and then we wonder why it is that we see children fighting in high school. Everything is gonna snowball in it. It's all interconnected, And then you want to turn around and blame the children for not parenting their children. You want to turn around and blame the children, say them is bad breed, right? You want to turn around and blame the teachers who are unable to basically identify these issues when it's the whole system that is causing the problem. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm not reading the comments right now, and I should be. The bottom line is, Sebastian, what's that you're listening to? The bottom line is, we have a problem and it needs to be tackled from the ministry level. You cannot have children with learning disabilities being taught in the same environment as other children. Then when this 13-year-old boy now, who clearly has an issue, does his PEP, fails mastery, because he's not going to master it if he has a learning disability. He's not going to master it. Then you send him to a school like Pembroke Hall High or another school like that with other children who are in his same scenario. And then what happens? That's a recipe for disaster. And then you expect teachers now to deal who are not trained to deal with these kids. Exactly, Alexis. He was controlling himself and the teacher pushed the situation. Exactly. You understand? He knows how to control himself and then push the hand in the pocket because he knows how to control himself. And she took away his control. And then, because listen, you see the thing with autism, the spectrum, sometimes they know. I've spoken to adults with autism. And I used to go to the gym with one, and when he's in a situation that him can't control, him go into a little space and him rock and try to control it. You understand? Hello, morning. Hi, morning. Give me 1 minute. Yes, morning. Yes. Yeah, man, I got somewhere. I move already. All right. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So, as I was saying, no, he's on the spectrum. If he's on the spectrum, I was talking to an adult. And the thing is, when their environment is controlled, they function fine depending on where on the spectrum they are, Depending on where on the spectrum they fall, if they can control themselves. So this boy at 13 clearly knew that him put him hand in his pocket and him trying to blow off him steam. This lady got upset the boy now and him blow. You understand? The bottom line is, I don't think any teacher has the right to physically assault any student. Because if a parent physically assaults a student, if I box my child, bear this in mind now, if I box my child and that child goes to school and complains to the teacher that mommy boxed me, that teacher can call Child Protective Services. That teacher can call Child Protective Services and have me arrested as the parent. You understand? So why is it then that students and that teachers and principals and whatsoever can get away with physically assaulting children? I don't think it's right. It's not right. You understand? Let's see what I say. It's right on no level. Vivian Diocoro did a good job. Yes, Dorothy, that is her. That is the lady, Vivian Diocoro. That is her. She ran this magnetic school. And 10 years ago, I just couldn't afford the school fee because it's expensive. But I can tell you, my daughter read at 2 years old. She's a brilliant child. When Diocora assessed her, her IQ was like 152, and them say she gifted in 7 out of 8. They have different areas of being gifted, and she's gifted in 7 out of 8 of them. Brilliant child, but she was just not challenged. And there is nothing in Jamaica to challenge these children. And don't think that raising a gifted child is any easier than raising a child on the other end of the spectrum with a learning disability, because you constantly have to challenge these children. Gifted children are the ones who become sociopathic, You understand? And I've been cussing about this from it happened with my child. It would be 10 years now because she's 13 now. Because by the time she reached grade 6, she was just absolutely bored. My child used to thief out my romance novel them when she was 8 years old and read them. The Mills and Boons and them something that till we have to find her. She read through everything, the pitney. She can't, reading bores her now because she's read everything. You understand? Now we have to occupy her time with the performing arts because that's the only thing that challenges her. Schoolwork, she tapped out, so she's just not interested in schoolwork. Right? So you have different ends of the problem still remains the same. Then my eldest child had ADHD. Children in the school system every day with these little problems, issues. And don't tell me that being gifted is not a problem, because I am telling you that it is. Right? When you have these problems that are not diagnosed, like ADHD, you understand? Autism, and all sorts of other things. You have children with some all sort of dissociative disorders, children who are bipolar, children with all sorts of different things that are in the school system with children who function normally, and they are expected to keep up at the same pace. And then you have on the minister now chatting, say, oh, you're making a big deal. See the teacher them talk, so them want to go school armed now. So them already boxing and well, some of them have to be dodging flying missiles. And listen, people think I'm attacking teachers. I am not attacking teachers, because I don't know if I'd be just as frustrated. The bottom line is that the teachers are not equipped to deal with the issues. They are not. Right? So you have teachers who are not equipped to deal with children who have all sorts of issues. Now imagine teaching a school with Pembroke Hall, and you can't tell me, say, if government's supposed to send professionals, psychologists, psychiatrists, all of these sociologists to Pembroke Hall, right? The way you call them now, social workers, the Pembroke Hall High, and sit down and assess these children. Nobody can tell me say 90% of them don't have some sort of disorder. Right? And these are the children who graduate from high school illiterate and innumerate, and you expect them to function properly in a society when they are not equipped to even earn a dollar. What do you think them are going to do? What do you think them are going to do? So you have a 13-year-old boy now who is being forced to take PEP, because he's taking PEP now, right? As his mother said, he's a slow learner, right? So when him go do the PEP now and him don't achieve nothing, what you are going to do with him? You're going to send him to a school now, like Pembroke High, where he's going to buck up on others like him. You're probably going to find one out of the whole of them that is a gifted child who tapped out of the system because here's the problem with the gifted children. The gifted children get bored easily. And so by the time they reach grade 5, grade 4, grade 5, if you can't challenge them, they're totally bored. So they stop paying attention. They disrupt other children in class. They become very disruptive. They stop learning. They disengage themselves from the education system, and then they underperform and underachieve. I'm talking from experience, because I had to constantly be pressuring my daughter. And if parents can't recognize the problem, they underachieve. And so you might have 1 or 2 gifted children at Pembroke Hall, but they become the ringleaders. You understand what I'm saying? These children know they're very bright, right? They are very bright, brilliant children, but them just not interested in education. Them tap out at it, right? They can, a matter of fact, they are fully literate and them can self-educate. Them end up at a school like Pembroke Hall. That is the example I'm using, because that is the one that is in the media now. Them end up at a school like Pembroke Hall because them go GSAT and pep and just the foolishness, because they're just not interested. You understand? But they're brilliant. And these are the ones who go to these schools and take charge and lead the ones with at the other end of the spectrum down astray now. So you have one ringleader surrounded by all of these kids now who follow blindly and end up creating problem. What you eating? Listen to me. We have a serious problem. And it has to start from somewhere. First of all, there needs to be more professionals hired by the ministry to assess these children. You can't be sending every one of them to Micah to get assessment. Why is it that you don't have these social workers and psychologists? You have enough in Jamaica. All of these people, why don't you have them going into the schools? Send them out on the road. Send them to the schools. Right? Why is it that you can't have them visiting a school at least once a term? One school at least once a term. If each one of these people, if you hire 10 of them, and them go into each start with at the primary level, and you go into the primary schools. A school gets assessed once per term. You try cover all the primary schools. Why you don't start there? So you can identify these special needs children and remove them from the formal system, so that you can do justice to these children. Another concern that was raised is that the parents don't want their children labeled as a special needs child. But if the parent is putting their child in the public system, they shouldn't have a choice. If you decide, say, you are going to send your child to a public school, be it a primary school or a high school, you don't have a choice. My child goes to high school, I can't determine which stream the child end up in, whether it's 3S, 3Y, 3G, 3N, 3E, 3T, whatever. I can't decide. I can't determine that. It's the school does that. You understand? The school determines. So if you have a stream of a class, a specialized class for children who have special needs, the parent can't determine that if the child is not going to go in that. If you can't comply, you go to another school. But if you create a centralized system where you actually monitor these children from the ministry level, even if the parent moves the child to another school, the child would have had a file, right? And once a child come there, so this is a special needs child. This child cannot be educated with the general population. That's what I'm saying. You understand? So then you end up blaming the children. Oh, look on the picture them. Every day I see teachers on my timeline chatting foolishness. Oh, the picture them bad. And then we take this, trying to defend bad behavior by teachers. If you go to teacher's school, you don't have, and you graduate, and you are now a professional, you don't have a learning disability, you don't have any barriers to learning, you're not a child, you're fully grown and fully matured. Do not try to excuse your behavior by justifying it because of the behavior of children who have all sorts of issues. Because they're not diagnosed, that don't mean them don't have it. This is the point I'm trying to make. You understand? Keisha, all right, so we have Principal Keisha Hill on now. So she's saying, listening in, but although you are giving a good account, you cannot understand JA classroom currently unless you are in it. Parents, for the most part, are not their child first teacher. Lewd music is. The issues are so complex, the government not nearly sending enough resources to impact learning. The teachers are in a box. But also, Keisha, the teachers are not trained. The teachers are not being trained to handle these issues. The teachers don't know how to assess whether a child has a learning disability or not. Why? Every teacher should be taught to assess whether a child can learn optimally or not. Diagnose that. A teacher is the first contact officer for this child. You should be able to tell if, listen, this child have a problem, go over this up. Next person, right? We're not saying that all teachers need to be trained as special needs teachers, but all teachers should be trained to assess whether a child has special needs or not, right? Some children don't even have special needs per se in terms of a learning disability. Some children can't hear properly. Some children can't see properly. So you put them at the back of the classroom, they can't see the board. They're not learning, so they're disrupting the class. You have children who probably have a hearing disorder. They're not hearing, so they're not learning. They're disrupting the class. You understand? Teachers should be at least taught the basics of assessing these children, right? And I've never taught, well, no, teacher, Keisha, you're wrong. I have taught, right? I have taught. I taught teachers. I actually did teach in Teachers College, right, for a while, yeah, I did. And I have taught children as well. I was a dance teacher, but I still have to teach the children. I taught at a prep school. You understand? So yes, I've taught. You understand? And apart from that, I'm a little manager sometime, and I manage the little boy them and my son's football team. And I've dealt with children who come from all walks of life. You understand? The bottom line is we all need to be accountable. Accountability can't be expected to be the parents alone. It can't be expected to be the teachers alone, right? The stakeholders like the ministry, right, need to take account as well. They need to be accountable too. You understand? Yeah, but Sophia, not all children go to pediatrician. Sophia is saying pediatrician assess. And Delia, this is what I'm saying. You cannot blame the home sometimes because listen to me. Listen, it's a running joke. There's this little boy I know, right? And this little child gives so much trouble. He come from a good home. He has brothers who are older than him. You'd never believe they come from the same family. His parents are both professionals, right? This child does, you would have feel say him not come from nowhere the way the picnic go on sometime. I was quite bemused when I found out that this child was related to these other two well-behaved, well-spoken boys, because they speak in standard clipped English. Him talk Racha Patwa. For him parents, them professionals, speak properly. You understand? You would have never believed at the same family. The bottom line is children. But guess what? The parents realize that he is learning in a different way. They say him have ADHD, whatever. So they move him to a system now where can facilitate him. Them have enough. They have enough resources. Them can do that. You understand? How many more of these children are there like this without the resources, where their parents have no resources? So sometimes it's unfortunate that you blame the children. You understand? I don't think you should be blaming the parents, I mean. Sometimes you really shouldn't be blaming the parents at all. You understand? At the end of the day, there is a problem. There is a problem, an institutional problem. You cannot be having a system, you swap black dog for monkey, so you change GSAT now. You said there was a problem with GSAT, so you take out GSAT now and you put in an exam that is even harder. Right? You're now causing a greater separation of the children. So as far as I'm concerned, PEP is a disaster waiting to happen. Listen, today, what date is today? Don't tell me. Today PEP going on. I don't even know what the date is. Sebastian, what date is today? Today is the 25th. The 25th of February, 2020. Mark my words when I tell you this. Remember this. PEP is a disaster waiting to happen. And you can quote me on this. Right? Because you had children who were not grasping concepts with GSAT. You have now changed it to an even more difficult exam where they are not going to grasp the concept even more. You're going cream off the one them now. PEP is going to allow you to cream off the children who are either well-resourced and them parents can spend money and send them to all the extra lessons them need. Right? Or, as well as the ultra-gifted children who get it like that. The normal children who parents don't have the money, them going now end up with everything going down. So basically, they're moving the thermostat up instead of down. You understand? Instead of making it more inclusive, the educational system more inclusive, they've made it more exclusive. PEP is a disaster waiting to happen. Right? Me, I went to university, and I'm telling you, me can't do PEP. If me should have said PEP, I would have probably failed it. Right? But you expect the 9-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, the 11-year-old, the 12-year-old to get it. You understand? It makes absolutely no sense what is going on. As I say, today is the 25th of February 2020. Mark my words. Big disaster. So in terms of the pediatrician thing, Sophia, how many children go to pediatrician? Most of these children do not go to a pediatrician. Pediatrician is for people who can afford to take them to pediatrician. Most of them go health center. Right? The doctors in health centers are not. They're not specialized. They're just then graduate from med school. They're general practitioners. They cannot assess the picnic them better than nobody else. The pediatrician, yeah, if you're gonna carry your children to a pediatrician, fine. But how many Jamaican children go to a pediatrician? Think about that. You understand? School is not an institution for learning. It's a competitive battlefield. You are so right. But the whole learning can go on when you're mixing up everybody together, Camille. If you're mixing up everybody together, how can learning happen? That's the point I'm trying to make. You see, we are shortchanging the children. And we are shortchanging the teachers too. And then it's the same thing with the health system. You know? We shortchange the patients, we shortchange the professionals, and then we're basically picking sides, blaming each other. Right? Now me, I split justice. I'm a notorious justice splitter. If I see a teacher going on with foolishness, I'm going to call them out. If I see a parent going on with foolishness, I'm going to call them out. If I see the student going on with foolishness, I'm going to call them out. But I'll be more on the side of the student. You know why? Because children are children. Their brains are not fully developed, no matter how we want to treat them. Right? And we Jamaicans, we notoriously treat our children badly. You imagine you have people justifying this principle, boxing a child in his face. Or would you have people justifying the JC teacher draping up and hauling and pulling the boy, right? Saying, well, oh, we don't know the backstory, this and that. I did not, that child was non-physical. There is no reason why the JC teacher had to be physical with a child who was non-physical. The child wasn't physical at all. The child did not attack him physically at all. Right? I didn't see any video for this Homestead primary child. But the fact from the story, the picnic shaking and huffing and puffing as far as I'm concerned as a setuno, there is a deep underlying issue with that child. The mother says a slow learner, the child needs to be assessed and placed in a school. You can't have all the picnic them going to Michael and wherever else in town. Believe me. Yes, the government needs to be more involved. You understand? This is the issue I'm having. The government needs to be more involved with the kids and their needs. You see, I don't know. We are a failed society. And I'm not blaming a particular government. Right? This is not a political conversation. Because this is not the only government that has failed its students. Governments gone by. Right? We're talking generations of failure. Right? Generations of not implementing the correct systems to ensure that our children are taken care of. Their needs are taken care of. And it is going to continue until we address the root cause. It is all connected, the crime. Listen, let me tell you something. I need to bring back Dr. Herbert Gale on my program. We need to have a conversation again with him and Jeffrey Walcott. Right? The social anthropologists, the psychologists, the psychiatrists, they all say the same thing and the government is not listening. Right? They've been saying this now from the previous government to from the government before that, from the one before that. They've all been saying the same thing. No, you're going about it the wrong way. These are the people them will bust them brain and study these things. So why is it that the technocrats are not listening to them? You understand? You see this country, I'm telling us I'm done with politics, We have been so shortchanged by politicians, it is not funny. And all of the social ills that are happening right now are because of the same politicians. Right? Where we jump and prance in green and orange and back. We don't realize that they are shortchanging us. And until we come together as a people and demand better and stop allowing them to divide and conquer, things are just going to get worse. Now this little 13-year-old boy, he's going to pass off because he can't do pep again, Him age out of the system now. Him have to go high school. Win, lose or draw, him have to go high school. So him going to roll through high school now. Probably he's illiterate and enumerate. Right? I'm going to graduate 5 years time at 18 or 19 years old from high school after giving teachers problem right through. Right? And then he's going to end up being another menace to society, easily controlled by a Don. Homestead is not a nice area. Right? Don give him gun for luck. Right? He make some bad decisions, him end up either dead or in jail. And if the cycle continues, it's a vicious cycle. Right? Him brain pliable, him end up being a gangster from him in high school because him don't have the brain function enough to think. You ever sit down and talk to some of them like a boy on the road? You ever ask them to read a paragraph or try to write? You ever go some places and see them and see them trying to decipher how to write? You realize that the majority of them who are causing the problem are illiterate and enumerate because they are the same child. All throughout the system, we have so many of them and we wonder why. Anyway, I have patients at my office booked for 11:30. I'm going to left for them. Let me see what I say. It's just war. All right. The children experience too much trauma. Thank you, Camille. Thank you, my darling. The issues we face daily, we need sensible persons in Jamaica to address these societal issues. Every area in Jamaica needs urgent help. But you see, the thing is, let me tell you something, Camille. The problem is politicians keep the masses illiterate for a reason, because them know say, look at the voting patterns. Who votes? Who are die-hearted? Who are the die-hearted supporters? Think about it. Die-hearted supporters are the ones who come from these so-called garrison communities. Homestead is a garrison community, by the way. Right? These garrison communities where they are being underserved, but them, all if it's the dog, them send up the dog have on orange or the dog have on green, them voting for it because, hey, you know much people vex with me because me decides I'm done with politics. People come for trace me now. You see, I leave them in a quandary. I leave them in a quandary because me never switch. I just decide that I'm done with politics. Because if I did switch, dog, them would have classed me the worst way. Right? Because we allow politics to divide us like this. Yes, mommy, I'm on my way now. Yes. All right, I'm on my way now. All right, cool. Patient. All right, yeah. So, in closing, I just want to say this. The politicians keep us undereducated, keep the masses undereducated because they want unconditional support. They want dependence. It's a dependence thing. This is how they do it, right? By not implementing the proper social infrastructures that are needed to elevate the population to another level. This boy at 13 years old, he should have been separated already and started training in something where he can earn. I have a good friend. Her child has Down syndrome. She realizes from him born saying have Down syndrome. Down syndrome is easy to pick up. She educated him right up in special, but right at the point where he's grown now, he can do a skill, right? He can earn for himself. So when she pass off, even though he have Down syndrome, she has equipped him to be fully functional with his disability. Right? This is what we need to do on a whole, and we need to stop saying, oh, the parents, because enough of them parents have the same learning disability too. Right? So you have parents who are intellectually incapable of making correct decisions, and they are the ones who become peer. They have children, and then their children have children, and then you have one fully done society. And then you wonder why we are in the quandary, why the murder rate is high to the sky, why pick me a fight teacher, and pick me a fight pick me, and parents are back down teacher. Listen. The problem explode now. The only way to get out of this problem is to stop running and follow back a politician. So, me say it, right? We need to actually take charge of our country as a people because we want better. We need to hold politicians accountable, right? Stop run pan people post when them cost labor right, and stop run pan people post when them cost PNP. We're not supposed to have no politician that go pan platform and bring up people's sexuality. Right? We're not supposed to have no minister where supposed to retire from Wapi Kill Philo. I tell people about how there is no problem in the education system. There is no problem in the education system. It's social media blowing it out. Seriously. And I'm not being ageist when I say he needs to retire, but it's beyond him now. It gone beyond him now. It's either them need to put him in a ministry that he is functional in, because why they never take Mattis Amuda and put him in education? That's what I wondered. I have no problem with elevating him to ministry level, but why did they not put him in education? Not that, and you know what? I'm not even gonna say that because crime need help too. But they need a proper education minister now. They need a proper education minister because the system is being underserved. Right? It is being underserved. Health is being underserved. Education is being underserved. National security is being underserved. And then we wonder why we have a problem. Anyway, people, no want nobody call me again from my office. Camille want to join the line. If Camille, you see me get my call, my summons already. Say patient in my office are wait on me. So I got to go. I got to go. So let us continue this discussion now. Let's continue this discussion. Just feel free to keep commenting on the live after I'm gone. You on Facebook, also on YouTube. Just continue to have the discussion. Right? So to take care to all of you, Jackie, Natalie, Maslin, Teresa, all I want to over there on YouTube. All of you on Facebook. It's too much I want on Facebook to call out, but Camille, Nadine, Delia, Jamaica, castor oil. Wow. I want some of that castor oil, Jamaica. Nelia, all of you who are on the live. Sophia, bless upon yourself. Yvette and Monique, all of y'all watching. As we need to stop pitting teachers against students. Teachers, stop defending the bad behavior of your colleagues. That's what my parting shot. Stop behaving the bad behavior of your colleagues by justifying it with the bad behavior of children. Make sense? You cannot justify your bad behavior by bad behavior of children who you're put there to teach. That don't make no sense. Anyway, see you, love you, later.